Hi there, Christopher here. I wanted to demo a Ark protocol prototype that I've been working on since Thursday. It's been maybe 2.5 days or so of prototyping using a ton of AI, which made it super fast. So this is the Ark protocol implementation from Second Tech. And I wanted to get a feel for Ark. I heard a lot about it. I read about it. I think it has a lot of potential. It's obviously, there's a lot to figure out. Just a lot of the tech has to mature, and then there's like this whole building infrastructure, figuring out, liquidity and fees and all of these type of things. But, the cool thing is that the guys from Second Tech released an alpha, and I was pretty easily able to pull this into a macOS Swift prototype. I could talk about that a little bit later, but for now I'll just show how it works. I went super fancy here, so this is called Arké, just having fun with it. I actually have a wallet, the create wallet. The detection of an existing wallet doesn't really work very well here. So I'm just going to create a new one, but there is already an existing wallet. So now it's loading up a lot of stuff. Very typical wallet stuff here. I see my activity, I have my balance, I have send, receive, settings, and then I have a thing called X-ray. And I'll go over that in a sec here. But let's start something just very basic with Ark. We have my payments balance. It says this is fast and low fees. Ark network, little wallet here. Wallets we carry around with us to make payments. And then we have the savings balance where there's this is supposed to be a bank safe. So it's best security and it's on the Bitcoin network. I see I have my available balance, 252,000 sats, and then I have 1.19. So let's say I want to pay, this is already in Ark here. So let's say I want to make an Ark payment. I go to send. Then here on the command line, I have a Ark wallet here. I can run it like this. So I'm going to get, let's see, what balance do we have? We have 1,200 spendable sats. Now let's get an address. I'm going to grab an address here from server. I'm going to paste that in. And then I'm going to send 4, 5, 6, 7 sats here. Send it. Sending. So this now talks to the Ark server to kind of figure out the VTXO stuff. Then I get this awesome confirmation here that it's being sent. And then let's go back to our balance. Cool, now we have 5,767, so that send worked. The fees are not really figured out in Ark. I don't think there's anything implemented, so it's free right now, I guess. And then if I put in a Bitcoin address here at the top, based on whether I put a Bitcoin address or an on-chain address, it'll show me the available balance, which ones I have available. Now let's do the other way. So I'm going to grab my Ark address here. Let me clear this. So we're going to /bark send, put the address, and then we're going to send 1,111 sats. So cool, send successfully. Got to change BTXO. We have our balance. Cool, seems like it's less now. So let's see in our activity. Should probably pop up. Here it is. So let's take a look here. We can inspect all of these things. We have transaction ID. It's confirmed. Super fast. Worked great. Here you can see through all these transactions. So that worked pretty great. But also let's receive here to our savings address. And this I'm going to demo the Bitcoin Core app here. Latest build that I have going on here. So I'm going to send. We're going to send 3,345 sats. Okay, to Arké. What? Okay, yeah, I need to switch over to sats. That's what I want, right? I'm going to preview it. That should be fine, no? Okay, there we go. Here we go. Send it, cool, send it, gotcha. There's a Bitcoin Core app, will be amazing. You can kind of see here the block time. It's all signet stuff here. Here we have it, sending it to Arké. And that should also start popping in here. And that then will give us new Bitcoin network funds that we can then transition into the Ark. So here you can see savings balance. We have the 3,456 coming in. Now let's say I want to, so there's a process called offboarding and onboarding. So I'm going to move funds from savings to payments. In here, I can just say like, 9,000. Let's do 90,000. Cool. I'm going to confirm it. Don't have a very nice animation implemented here, but it works. So that's pending now. And then in reverse, I can also move funds from the payments balance to savings. Now this one is a little bit different because we have to actually pick VTXOs. I can't just say I want 10 or 50 or 1,000 sats. I have to basically pick a VTXO. And then that's going to go through the offboarding process. And that's why, there's kind of this indication here. So, this VTXO shouldn't really be shown here because that's kind of still making its way into the Ark, right? The unregistered board one. That means it's making its way through that process of being, onboarding onto the Ark. But the other ones then I can send back. Let's just confirm these here. And then that's going to, find its way back to on-chain through this round-based process. Not sure if it works here. Maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. Let's cancel. Cool. So we have send, we have receive. Oh, okay, I guess we haven't got that going here, clipboard. And here we also have, so I can share this link here using the built-in share stuff. And that shares a BIP21 URI, either Ark Network savings, payment savings, or I can pick a QR code here. Also cool, that needs a close button. I can make this bigger if I want to, so I can read it more easily. Then settings, I don't have anything. Then there's the X-ray thing, and I think that's kind of helpful here. That's where it basically shows you everything that's under the hood. So I can see my Ark balance. We still have the 91,000 pending. The part of it is boarding here, 90,000, and then 1,100 is being exited. Then we have the on-chain balance here, untrusted pending. I don't really know what that means off the top of my head. These is really kind of the intricacies of things where these need to be translated into something simpler. These kind of, in-round board and all this stuff, imager. Then we have our VTXOs. Each VTXO, I can see the details here, all this technical stuff. This is another Ark nuance here. They expire. So each VTXO, there's an expiry height. Here at the bottom, we can see our current block height, estimated block height, and then it tries to figure out, well, how many blocks does it expire? And then it figures out how long, or like a round is a block. Kind of is a block. There are 30 seconds long here, round interval. And then it can figure out how much time until we need to do this. If my impression was that when I call the Ark balance call, it automatically does kind of a maintenance and does refreshing for me. But I think this is a really intricate thing to figure out in the UI. So for example, you have a wallet that hasn't been online for a long time. Then maybe you need to show like, hey, why don't you go online and refresh those VTXOs? And I am sure 31 minutes is not going to be what it's going to be in the long term, right? I don't know. I would assume it would be something like days or weeks or so, right? So that people don't have to ping the servers every half an hour, because there's also cost involved in this refreshing. So there's a lot of nuance here. Then we have our UTXOs here. Not sure why this one says unconfirmed on the left and this one confirmed on the right. Maybe the status is wrong. Oh well. And then we have our configuration, Ark info, exit delta. Haven't really looked into that yet. Maybe that is the time, like, expiry delta is like when you get a VTXO, how long until it expires. And exit delta, maybe that is the time before it expires, like within 12 blocks of expire, maybe that's, I don't know. I'm learning here. This is a big learning experience. But let's take a look at the code real quick. I'm gonna pull up, where is it, Xcode? So in Xcode here, we have Bark, That's the latest alpha. I need to put in, add in what version this is. Then we have a Ark wallet protocol that basically references all of the different functions that we want. Then we have an implementation of that. So this is the Ark wallet. Somewhere, it executes commands on the executable here. So an important thing here is the reason why, a lot of times we want to build mobile apps, right? But iOS is more sandboxed than macOS. So here in macOS, I can super easily just throw in this binary and make calls to it in a separate process. That is not so easily possible on iOS. So that's why I basically went for the desktop route. For now, it's just very quick prototyping, and all of this is like experimental, right? Including the goofy images, just having fun there, throwing things out. So if to put this on iOS, you would need, Swift bindings, other stuff, right? It's more complex. But this environment is great to be able to already test out the user interface, the design system. So there's a lot of overlap between Swift on iOS and macOS, with some of these nuances. And then it basically, here it makes all these different calls. I create a wallet, get Ark balance. It just executes the balance command. Then it wraps whatever it gets back. It wraps into these models here. So we have like an Ark balance model, Ark config model, transaction model, different status, all this stuff. Then we also have a mock implementation of the protocol that just returns. So that is super helpful. For example, here in Ark balance view, here we have these previews where it just uses the mock data, right? For these previews here, super handy there. Then the wallet manager implements either the Ark wallet or the mock Ark wallet. And then it handles all those calls. It does deduplication and some basic time-based caching here, and also centralization. And then all the interface elements, they simply call get this wallet manager injected, and then they make calls to it. It's pretty straightforward architecture. Like you always have the manager here floating around all these different places, manager, right? So almost all of this code was AI written. I architected it, I instructed it, I guess. I built it like little by little to make sure it doesn't get confused and create a total mess. But then again, this was a couple days of work. So that's that. But I think it's pretty cool, I think it works. Let's do one more thing. I want to send here. I want to create Bitcoin address here. I want to send it back. I have to showcase the Bitcoin Core app here, of course. I'm going to send those. Cool. Is it working? Let's see. Oh no, payment failed. Cannot spend from version 3TX. Oh no, truck violation. Well, that sucks. Cool. So let's end here with an error message. But nonetheless, I hope this is helpful. I think I'd love to it was helpful for me very much so in order to figure out how Ark works, kind of the nuances of the tech, and then trying to think about very practically how we can convert that into a user interface. There's a lot to do. I think the fee stuff is very sensitive. I think the VTXO refreshing is super sensitive there. Probably need to be some very considered, nuanced UI solutions and prompts here. But I'm pretty excited about Ark from doing this, and I'm curious to hear what everyone else thinks. So let me know. Thanks.